continuing with the conversation that we had before. So you went through the journey from India, applied from there, and started working here, and you're doing well here, continuing to work here. Do you have any suggestions for people who are applying for data analytics from India?
Absolutely. The first and foremost, the biggest, the most important is LinkedIn, I would say. That's the only portal that you would actually need. People also suggest a couple of others as well, which are like mostly, let's say, after LinkedIn that are used here in Germany. But then LinkedIn is the first point of landing that you'd start your jobs search. Let's say when I started applying, it was basically the market was actually ramping up. So especially in data analytics, there were like plenty of jobs that were like really, I will have about 10 jobs per day to apply. And I was able to like pick and choose which would match my profile at the time. And then we came out of the pandemic, and then the market slowly slowed down, and it's still slowing down. But then I'm a data person, so I'm always focusing on data. So if you look at data analytics field, it was actually the opposite. So in 2022, it was like going through a good phase, and then we had a drop, and again it is kind of picking up. So I'm seeing a lot of jobs here in Berlin. And one other thing is that back then Germany was like kind of really popular with visa sponsored jobs. So mostly either you are looking for jobs in Germany, and your next option would be Netherlands, and then you're trying to see if there are one or two openings here and there like Poland, etc. But right now, beyond Germany and Netherlands, so many other good markets who are in real and dire need of people. For example, Austria, for example, Norway, for example, Sweden, for example, Poland, the city of Krakow especially, and for example, France. So now you have competition in between the countries of Europe who are actually opening up lots and lots of jobs for international workers, and LinkedIn your first place to land. And let's say you could be in any sort of a profile. You could be a developer, backend engineer, data engineer, DevOps engineer, cloud architect, product designer, and data analyst, data scientist, etc. Maybe I can share my fair share of experience that I had. Yeah, sure. So the first lesson is be ready for rejections. Everyone will reject you. So end of the day, let's say you land in a successful job, but by then you would have applied for 50 to 70 jobs, and then I
think that's a very optimistic number.
That's also optimistic, yeah. Let's say I'm being a little bit conservative. So let's say you have applied for 100 to 150 jobs. Probably you would have had your first rounds with 7 companies, and then also some would reject there. It's like mostly you're going to the last rounds for about 2 to 3 at max. Yeah. So if you're a really good candidate, probably you're having, let's say, 5 to 6 third rounds and more. But otherwise, there are chances that you lose even after the first recruiter round. So first lesson is get ready for failures. And my second lesson is it's permutation combination game. So which means you have to apply for a lot of jobs. So to apply for a lot of jobs, you have to find companies where you can actually apply for. So how do you find a lot of companies, for example? Let's say randomly through different blog posts or different site, your friend told about some company, etc., and you find 2 to 3. Now you go to LinkedIn, search for that company. Yes, of course, the first step is you would go there, look for a job in that company, but this is a permutation and combination game. You also need to apply in so many different companies. So if one company interests you, and let's say a profile is matching for a role in that company, you go to their LinkedIn page, scroll down, LinkedIn also shows you a tab. Yeah, companies or people have been hired, or there is a tab that says, hey, these are some of the companies that are similar to the one that you've opened, basically. So basically, you will see the competitors of that company if you come down the page. So one became 5 now because you can already see 5 there. And you go inside the profile of each of these 5 companies, you will find 5 more. So that's how you try to replicate. And then you also do not go after just internet or e-commerce companies, because Europe is very, very diverse. So you have lots and lots of different domains where tech people are actually needed. Music, for example, is an important domain here. There are so many music startups where they need data engineers, and then iOS developers.
Yeah, I know a music startup. It's called Floki, and a friend who works there. So I think music is also a scene in Berlin.
Exactly. So never ever do this mistake of keeping your domain short. So have small. So have a broader vision. So even if it's energy, because there are lots of energy companies here, music, etc. But it all drills down to the same tech piece that you would have worked on, and you will continue to work, just that with different tools. So coming back to permutation and combination. So now 1 had become 5 have become 25 become easily 100 will become 100 cross 5. So this is how you try to apply for lots of jobs, and then you land in the first recruiter call for about 2 to 3% maximum, which is also a big number only. But as you start giving out interviews, and then you will get rejections, but as you start giving out first rounds, by the end of second or third recruiter rounds, let's say, like you tried 3 different companies and then you're failing in the first one itself, but by your third interview, you're already having some sort of a confidence and direction, and you already know what is expected out of you. You've already gauged what is the expectations of that particular market, for example, Germany, and then you're already better. So by, let's say, third interview company, so you are already better. And from their 5th, you're already better. And then some companies, you will, let's say, go to the coding round, and then you will jump from coding to managerial, and then managerial to use case solving, etc. In every phase, you will get a lot of confidence, which I think people are lacking, especially, or we should support people back there in India, that failure is nothing, because we are not used to it, right? But this is not this is permutation combination game, rather than let's say you tried for 3 companies and then 3 companies rejected, boom, you are completely shattered, and you think or you try to demoralize yourself and feeling dejected. No, the game is different here. If you tried 50 companies in India, you're failing in everything. That means you have to change profession. But here, if you're trialing in 50 companies in Germany, for example, and you failed in 50, you have to change strategy. So that's kind of really important. So second, play the permutation combination game. Apply for maximum number of companies. Third, coming to skills. I'm going to talk about how you should pick skills generically, and then I will also talk about data analytics. So now that in the second phase you found so many companies already, go to their LinkedIn profile, write in a special notebook, not paper, not in your computer, etc. Write in a paper, write in a notebook of the skills that they actually want. So they would definitely highlight, hey, we definitely want this. And then some skills are desired, and then some skills are like nice to have. Make a table and go to these 50 companies. Now you just do A intersection B intersection C. Like, what are the most common skills in each of these 3 buckets? And then you group them. Let's say you lack, here companies do not look for 100% match, because this is here in European market, also in most parts of the world. Your skills, especially technical skills, contribute to about 50% only. 50% is actually your persona. So you should also focus on hard skills. I'll come back to that.
Soft skills.
Yeah. hard skills and soft skills. So you have to make sure that you have a better persona or work on those persona skills also. So now you've written down so many different skills that are actually you see in the LinkedIn posts, and then you found out, okay, what are the major ones that I need, and then you find where there is a gap. For example, in my case, the first company asked Google Analytics, so I, coming from a data background, I tried to fill that gap. But rest of the companies asked something else. But I also had some in my bag, so you try to fill the gap. So try to focus only up to 60%. Do not waste your time because you have to run really faster. So in the third phase, you will find the skills, you find the intersections, and then you try to fill the gap. Fourth, really, really important. If you want to move from India to elsewhere in the world, do it like really quickly. What I mean quick is, let's say you start or you keep your eyes on moving out of India, and then you want to land in a role elsewhere. Try to do it 6 to 8 months. If you keep on dragging, you're not going to. You're going to slowly lose focus, or you're trying to forget whatever preparations that you did in the first 3 months. So 6 to 9 months is what I think is kind of a good and ideal zone, and try not to go beyond. But most likely, I'm sure, if you put your heart out, I'm sure that you're going to clear much faster. Just that, of course, there is going to be competition. Where is there no competition? Yeah, so there are competition everywhere. But just that you have to also play the market strategies. So like permutation, combination. So fourth, do it faster. Keep 6 to 9 months timeline, so that you try to fill the gaps, and then you start applying, you start giving interviews, so that you're kind of feeling fresh when you give interviews, and then crack and then pack your bags. So permutation combination game is the biggest thing besides skills.
Okay, cool. So next question is about, first thanks for the guidelines. Next question is actually specific about the market now, like 2024 November. In Career Konnect, I speak to some people, and what I've been hearing is some people apply for 500, 600,000 companies. They don't get enough interviews. They don't get enough breakthrough and then getting a job. I actually know a person from, not in data analytics field, but in some other field, who came from Chennai and was in JSV or in Chance and Kate for like 6 months, kept on applying, didn't get through, got one offer, but they rescinded it after 2 weeks. And then finally they have now moved back to Chennai, and now applying online, trying to find at least a job by January. So I just want to make it a bit more realistic. So in the current job market, how is data analytics doing? What do you think about that?
Okay, I'll focus on data analytics now. So the wave is basically, we had better job opportunities in 2022, and then it actually nosedived in 2023, 24, and now it's actually again picking up. You will see a lot of data analyst, senior data analyst, data analytics expert, etc., job roles that are popping up. Let's say, okay, that is for data analytics, but in general, there is market downturn. So basically the investments are less, and that's why you don't get a lot of opportunities. One, let's say, a big thing that right now you should focus on is this 50% skills thingy. So since the market is really bad, but for these roles, you get a lot of opportunities, and there are, back then, let's say there are 50, 70 people who are applying for the same job. I've recruited people. I'm part of the recruiting team for my team in my company, etc. So we easily get 100 plus applications in about 1 day. 1 hour to 1 day. Our internal portal gets flocked with so many resumes. So what does it say? So many people are looking for jobs. So if you target specific roles, etc., try to apply as fast as possible, because humanly it is not possible for me to check 200 different applications and then schedule like the first 30 candidates, etc. Humanly it's not possible. So try to apply as fast as you can. That is number one. Second, talking about skills, now you have to gauge, let's say from 50%, try to match 80%. Yeah, what I mean by that is, let's say there are about 8 technical skills needed. I will give a pure example of data analyst. Yeah, so for a data analyst job in Berlin, you are supposed to have knowledge in Python, knowledge in SQL, and then good Excel, and then storytelling, PowerPoint presentation, whether you are able to talk. You can, of course, you can, of course, work on and bring the numbers, but are you able to communicate it to people so that they can take better decisions? So that's really important. And then you're talking about here and there are so many tools, especially. So Berlin is Snowflake heavy and Databricks heavy market. So basically these are tools where you will write your SQL code. These are warehouses. So what I would suggest is basically now try to fill or get your skill set in terms of whatever the job is actually expecting. If you take Snowflake, for example, let's say I have a profile where they've said just SQL. And then on one side I see SQL and I also have Snowflake knowledge. So right now, I'm mostly going for Snowflake because the budget is less, the timeline is really stringent, and we want someone who would match really closely to the role. So we wanted to pick them up. And of course, for a data analyst, you need reporting tool knowledge, which could be the market leaders are Power BI and then Tableau. And you also have ClickView, Spotfire. There are so many other tools, but the main market leaders are Power BI and Tableau. Focus on, let's say, vendor specific technical skill set. So if it's Snowflake SQL, try to tick that box. So many companies are using Kubernetes as their orchestration tool, and make sure you have a little bit of knowledge in Kubernetes. And you will, if you're applying for a data analyst job, you are supposed to know Python and SQL and Excel. So that's why I'm not talking about those 3. Yeah, but then I'm just trying to focus on market specific tools wherein you can be an stand out in the profiles that we get. For example, DBT, which is a tool that's like kind of really trending in Berlin. So DBT with Snowflake, with Kubernetes, and then basic tools of data analysis, definitely you're getting the first round.
Okay, got it, cool. Maybe one last question about the hiring process itself, right? Like for example, design field, people on the other side, they also have similar stories, right? Like let's say they put a post in LinkedIn, and there are 300, 400 applications on day one. They need to like refine or like pick the best candidates. So they have this thing called portfolio. So there are a few things, right? Like they see if the person has actually done the work, if they are actually, the images are of good quality, the storytelling is coming through, the designs are great, the process is like testable or verifiable. So these are the things they check for design. Is there something similar in data analyst where they get 300 applications? How do they select the, let's say, the last 10 or they pick the 10 candidates they want to interview?
Unlike product design, unlike data science, where at least we can show our Git repository of what are the different kinds of machine learning problems that we've actually solved to showcase, because it's statistics heavy, so you can at least show that we've tried to predict this, that, and then you can create profile. But for data analysis, I would rather focus on the toolkit, especially vendor specific toolkits, like that are most closer to what the company is expecting. The reason being, even if you have, let's say, a profile to stand out, it's because of this 200 application and you've applied, let's say, after 3 days or 5 days, and yours is like 197th. It's not humanly possible for the recruiter, for the hiring manager, for the hiring team. It's difficult for us to go resume by resume and then catch your portfolio and then see and then check the work and then okay, could be interesting, and then we wanted to pull the person into the process. So it gets difficult. So which is why I say be quick to apply for the roles right now. I still remember my manager once said that this is 2 years ago, that they selected a profile because someone has analyzed the Game of Thrones. Someone had created a report out of Game of Thrones series, and then it was really interesting for him to see to come out of the different numbers in the series, etc. So that was kind of standout at that time, but right now it's very difficult in data analytics to have a profile and then get yourself selected. Be quicker and then have market specific tools are the biggest armors that you can have.
Okay. Okay, cool. One, probably we talked a lot about work and interviews and getting selected and what to do, what not to do. Probably one fun question to end with. Travel is your favorite hobby. Any interesting travel stories? What you recently visited? Any stories from that?
Yes, I can share one. So not recently. The one place that I really got mesmerized was Norway. It was truly breathtaking. So I would, let's say, if I have a chart where I rank the different places that I visited, Norway would be my first preference and also first recommendation.
Tromsø or?
No, I was near Bergen, so I did not go to. It's West Norway. I don't know. In Tamil, you have this song called Nani Kuni. That song.
Yeah, I think.
Probably it was fully featured and shot in this part of Norway.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Probably I'll go and see that video. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Manoj, for taking your time, sharing your insights about data analytics, about your journey, about how to apply, how to use LinkedIn. And hopefully if someone wants to reach out to you via LinkedIn and to help them in their journey, probably you can help them out later.
Definitely. I've already been doing that. So I never say no to anyone, or I will never stop responding to someone. So I always reply to all the messages in LinkedIn, because now I'm rather focusing on, okay, that we've crossed the line. Now I'm trying to pull how many people ever possible to pull from India. So I'm trying to do that. So
great. Basically how to give back.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks for your time again. And if you have any questions about data analytics, please do share in the comments. And also we will share the links to his LinkedIn profile. You can also reach out to him. And we will see you in another Career Konnect after some time.